The grid is formed. It is going to be 16 laps ahead of us. Everybody on that hard tyre. It's a dry day, a dry circuit, 5-second board shown, and we are ready for business then. Lights will go red, engine notes rise. It is lights out. It is a good start by Sutton. Not a great start by Camish in comparison to Doble, who's almost up alongside him, but Sutton has certainly got the drop on Ingram. Jake Hill round the outside of Senna Proctor, and a very, very sideways Chilton in the middle of the pack. Has he been able to save it as the cars come up towards us? Yes, he has, but there's a BMW off the road as well in the background, having a big, big lose. It's Charles Rainford, who's gone around and around and around. A real magic roundabout job that. It will drop him to the back of the field. I think he was taking evasive action, and it all went wrong for him as Sutton leads Ingram, and those two have got away with Doble third. Up into fourth is James Dornan, and Camish has gone backwards.
Yeah, but Ash Sutton off like a bottle of pop from the line. He was gone, but Ingram's looking very challenging on this first lap. Both these guys so good on cold tyres. The tyres here get up to temperature really fast anyway. As you say, Camish was the loser initially off the line.
And Gordon Shedden's also made some good progress then. We know that he's an experienced driver with a great strike rate here, 7 times a Thruxton winner, so he's certainly one to watch. That Toyota Corolla going better in the drive than in the wet, as here are the two race leaders then absolutely nose to tail. Ingram goes to the outside line. Ash Sutton has only 1 lap's worth of boost. Safety car deployed as Ingram tries to go right round the outside. They're going to be level. He goes through. Sutton has to give him room. Ingram will lead at the end of the lap. They race to the flags and the boards, and Ingram is ahead. Doble tries to get up alongside Sutton, and he is ahead and past him as they get to the line, but then I think we'll give back that place. Sutton looked to be going back through on the inside. So, safety car deployed at the end of the opening lap of the race, and it must be for Charles Rainford's car that has not come by. Have another look at the start. Now have a look at Chilton. He's up the curb, he hits Proctor, he gets all sideways.
Gets sideways, and it's actually Rainford goes off on the left in avoidance, comes back across the track. Fortunately, nobody collects him. That could have been very nasty. Yeah. Shades of Adam Morgan back in the Mercedes a few years ago, but fortunately doesn't hit anybody. But yes, a bit of a kerfuffle at the chicane as they came in.
But Rainford has got going. The ones that we've lost are Max Hall and Sam Osborne. They are the two that have not come through on the opening lap. So the safety car is not for Charles Rainford, in fairness to him. He's got going again. But Max Hall and Sam Osborne are off the racetrack, and that's at the back part of the circuit, Goodwood Village Church area, where we saw Josh Cook having his moment yesterday and Adam Morgan off the road. You can see that Sam Osborne is out of the car. Max Hall a little bit winded, I fear, after the impact. You can see that the tyre barrier is deformed on the right of the shot there, so the safety car is deployed, and therefore everybody has to slot in behind. No overtaking permitted right now.
Yeah, although I couldn't actually see any damage on Max Hall's car. It could, of course, be on the right-hand side, but I couldn't see it. So hopefully they're both okay. Yeah, it looks like he's getting out of the car now. Sam Osborne in the background, he's out of the car, but the car is nosed into the barrier, so that will definitely have front damage. Max Hall just checking a few things on the car. The Napa Racing, Alliance Racing team in the pit lane looking on slightly concerned. But back to the, oh, this is off the start from Pearson, watching in front. That's Max Hall. Osborne is just in front. Aaron Taylor-Smith has come into shot in the Toyota on the right. Obviously got Charles Rainford has come across the grid already on the right, so that doesn't affect them. Max Hall on the left, look, goes all the way around the outside into the complex, which is the right thing to do when you're at the back and the gap opens up for you. They're very tight together as they come through Campbell Cobb. Seagrave is the exit. The next one is the left-hand of Noble, and it's through Noble and Goodwood, I think, that the incident occurs. Looking ahead, can I see? Oh, it looks like Osborne lost it on the right. Osborne lost it. Oh no, that's Max Hall's lost it on the right, and come back across the road and collected Osborne. Very unfortunate. That's a cold right rear tyre on Max Hall's car, is why he's lost it. But this is on board with Adam Morgan. Remember, he started down in 16th. Gets a good start. He's got
there's Rainford on the grass, straight across on the right, tries to catch the slide. Big scary moment for Rainford, so Morgan should be ahead of that drama that's triggered the safety car. He's up to 11th, incidentally, by the end of the opening lap. He gets involved there with Dexter Patterson, does Adam Morgan. And there you can see cars need moving, barrier repair work to be done. This might take a few laps yet, so the driver's currently behind the safety car, and Max Hall's car being retrieved. The drivers will go to the medical centre, of course, no matter how large or small an incident, just to be checked over. Let's try and grab a word with Adam Morgan then. Adam, not a bad first lap, up into 11th place. It all looked quite frantic. You had BMWs spinning across the road in front of you and everything.
Yeah, that was pretty hectic to begin with, but yeah, in those situations you just got to try and make the most of it. Try and pick your gaps, make sure it's safe. But yeah, it's not a bad first couple of laps up into P11, like you say. So we'll try and get our head down and keep on going.
What can you do now while the safety car is out? Is there anything you can adjust in the car? Is it just a case of sit there and wait for the restart? Can you use the time?
You've got to manage these tyres, manage the brakes. We know how abrasive it is around here, so you want to keep the temperature up in the tyres, but at the same time you don't want to take any life out the front. So it's a constant management is around Thruxton. You're constantly looking after stuff, but it looks like it might be a lengthy safety car, so we can build it back up a bit nearer the time.
All right, we'll leave you to that management process for now. Cheers, Adam.
Thank you.
So Adam Morgan is in 11th place. Quickly to mention, behind him, 12, Josh Cook. Good first lap from him.
Yeah, very good. Don't forget, Josh Cook's had no time in that car since it's been rebuilt. He couldn't even do a shakedown or anything, so One Motorsport have done an excellent job of getting that car fixed. A disgruntled Sam Osborne walks across to the Intersport vehicle for a lift back to the pits. Just at the front though, remember Ingram had got round the outside of Sutton, but he's given that place back to Sutton, so it's Sutton that's leading on the road now. Of course, it was at the chicane last year that Ingram took a place and did give it back, and subsequently lost the win.
True enough. So leaving nothing to chance this year. You're on board with Dan Rowbottom at the minute. He's 7th place. This is a replay of his start.
On board with Rowbottom. Not the best start. Look, he's lost several positions, not only to the fast-starting rear-wheel drive BMWs, but also to the front-wheel drive cars in front of him. Oh, that was a big old moment.
Oh, so was that.
That was a big old moment. It just opened up nicely for him. It's probably just as well he made a bad start.
Yeah.
He will tell us he did that deliberately to avoid that incident. But it did leave him a nice gap in front, didn't it?
It did rather. The first slide you saw was Tom Chilton. The car coming from the grass to the other side was BMW of Charles Rainford. Spencer Aldridge in the middle there. Tom Ingram's race engineer looking on in the Team Virtue pit. The BRDC cap just turning around in the background. Marvin Humphries, the team manager. There you start to get an idea of the damage on Sam Osborne's car. A lot of damage on that right rear corner. So the cars are being moved. We've also got that tyre barrier to sort out. We can add on 3 laps, but this is, like Adam Morgan predicted, a lengthy safety car period.
Yeah, he could see the damage there to both the cars and the barrier. But yeah, I think as Max Hall speared back across the track, he hit Sam Osborne in that right rear, and then that pushed Osborne obviously off into the barriers as well. So the Alliance Racing team have got some work to do to get that car fixed. I'm sure they're already getting the bits out. But yeah, I mean, Chilton actually is actually still in a good position. He's in 14th place, so despite that wild moment, he didn't lose too many positions.
Max Hall's 4th retirement of the season. He's had quite a few incidents, as we've seen at Brands and Snatterton as well as here. Mikey Doble, in the meantime, running in 3rd place. There he is, at work, and this is his start.
Good to see a start near the front. Look how well Ash Sutton gets off the line. In fact, both Ingram and Sutton got away very nicely. Camish at this point is 3rd and looks fine, so I'm not sure quite how he then loses position. We'll watch on board with Dover. Hopefully we'll stay with it and see the overtake. He goes to the outside, good move, but can't quite get all the way alongside. Or does he make a lunge? He does make a lunge. Oh, and that's what tapped Camish. So Camish lost that position as a result of a bit of contact with Doble, but Doble was racing hard there into the left-hander of the complex. They both lost distance to the front two though. They're off and away with Ingram trying really hard to get past on the first lap. Doble with the car working well for him as they come down towards Church. This is still 6th gear. Just a partial lift on the throttle right across the inside. There is a track limits violation if you go too wide on the exit, but he gets a nice neat run, and we're possibly going to see the Tom Ingram round the outside move into the chicane here. He sets it up beautifully, I was looking, in fact the lights were on, you could see on the marshal post, I was looking to the marshal's post, which is why he's given the post back. Doble actually possibly hasn't seen it because he actually overtakes at the line but then gives it back.
Yeah. So that puts him back into third place. He will have to do the work again, and so will Tom Ingram. So right now we're on lap number 6 out of what's going to be 19 ultimately, with the extra laps added on for the safety car. There is the Motor Parts Direct with Power Max Racing team down to one car. Nick Halstead taken ill yesterday with some pain. And, he's watching from home. Get well soon, Nick. But he went out in FP1 and around his ribcage was quite tender. Went to hospital and has decided to step back from this weekend, but he will be back later in the season, no doubt. There is Mikey Doble then, upholding team honour, and he runs in third. Race order then is Sutton, Ingram from Doble, Camish, Dorlin, Proctor, Rowbottom, Shedden, Hill and De Leon, the top 10. And there is Max Hall's car being craned away from one side of the circuit to the other. The car of Sam Osborne behind. The tyre barrier, assuming it is sorted out, should allow us to go racing very soon as well. Marshals will be back on post once those incident vehicles are out of the way. Ian Watson, Dave White, his deputy, the clerks of the course, they'll be looking at not only these pictures that we all have, but at the Marshals post CCTV cameras, making sure everything is out of the way, making sure that the barrier is safe, so if another accident has to be withstood, it's up to the job, and then the call can be made to bring in the safety car and we can go back racing, which hopefully might be at the end of this lap.
Yeah, one thing of course that's new this year is the safety car restart rules, which will close everybody up, because if you remember, Sutton and Ingram had that little gap to everybody, but although that was closed up through the chicane under the safety car, but on the new restart rules they're not allowed to accelerate till they're out of the chicane and they get to the restart line, so it should mean that everyone's much closer together.
So who are the ones to watch on the restart? Well, probably half the grid, really, but you've got Dan Rowbottom looking to buy back some places. Gordon Shedden's in a hurry, so is Jake Hill, Adam Morgan and Josh Cook, and the recovering Tom Chilton. Dan Lloyd is in 15th, and that car was quick in the dry. And Chris Smiley 17th, and he topped FP2. So he struggled in the wet, but that's another car that by rights ought to be higher up the order. And of course, there's Charles Rainford, 22nd last, but he's now got to try and get some places back. Yeah,
one thing that we haven't discussed really is the BMWs. Jake Hill is the top BMW in 9th, and they look forward to certainly some better race pace than they had in qualifying. It was just too wet. The BMWs, when they're wet, when it's wet, Jake Hill's been fantastic over the last couple of years, but when it's really wet and aquaplaning, the front wheel drive cars have an advantage. Looks like we're going for a restart.
Lights are out on top of the safety car then. Into the chicane come Sutton, Ingram, Doble, Camish, Dorlin, Proctor, the top 6. Rowbottom, Shedden, Hill, De Leon round out the top 10. There's a green flag being readied on the start line. The boards and flags are withdrawn. There's the green flag. Ash Sutton accelerates. Now, coming out of the chicane, we go back racing. You can't overtake until you cross the timing line and down towards Allard. It is Sutton versus Ingram. They are absolutely nose to tail. Ingram has found a way past once in rather robust fashion. He's going to try and do it again. Neither of them wanting to use their lap or 2 laps worth of turbo boost until the very end. This is Doble closing up on the outside. Camish goes back past him. Really demon move by Camish. He goes third. Ingram's looking for a way past Sutton, but Camish certainly has a point to prove after being roughed up at the original start, and he's brought back third place already.
Well, Doble outbraked himself. You can see by the closing speed into the chicane that Doble was either going to do a demon brake around the outside, or as it transpired, he just outbraked himself, so he just opened the door for Camish, who's straight onto the back, in fact, of Ingram.
And don't forget that Camish has got more boost available to him. He wants to use that towards the end of the race as well, but it's Sutton ahead of Ingram. Camish absolutely storming along to catch up. In 4th place is Mikey Doble. Small gap back to 5th, Dorlin. 6th is Proctor. 7th is Rowbottom. Here are the race leaders. And look at Camish go. Gets a bit of a toe off Ingram, who gets a toe from Sutton. To the inside line goes Sutton. To the outside line goes Ingram. He's done it once here to get the lead. Sutton right on the limit as the car quivers under braking. They clash. Camish is going to go through for the lead. They skip out the chicane. Arguably gain an advantage in so doing. Proctor's off the road as well. Ingram comes through in the lead, and that was the last of the late breakers on the outside line. There was really nowhere Ingram could go.
There was nowhere to get, because Sutton's car was barely in control, wasn't it? It was hopping and skipping on the brakes, and he just ran wide and took Ingram with him. Here's Proctor getting stuck back into touring car racing behind champion Jake Hill, and not afraid to rub him up.
Absolutely, and there's Josh Cook, look up on the inside, the king of Thruxton, 9 times a race winner here. He's on the back of Gordon Shedden, 7 times a winner here, and Cook's going to clear 2 of them in one great move. Fantastic. Josh Cook goes by, no ill effects of yesterday's off, that's for sure at the moment as he goes up towards Noble, and that contact Proctor gets into Shedden, who's on the grass, the car is sideways, he's back on the tarmac, and mercifully nobody collects him. That was an enormous Code Brown moment for Gordon Shedden, but thankfully he'll be able to get back on the tarmac. He might want to have brought a lot of grass on the front of the car, which will send the temperatures off the clock, and the pit lane may beckon, but that could have been a whole lot worse.
Well, I mean, poor old Gordon Shedden, he just has no luck. Remember, he was collected by Max Hall at Snetterton. He's now been turfed into a spin at one of the fastest parts of the track here by returning Senna Proctor. He won't be happy at all.
I think turfed was the operative word, given how much grass he brought back. Out of the chicane, then come the leaders. Morgan is there ahead of Chilton, ahead of De Leon. So Tom Ingram leads, ahead of Sutton, ahead of Camish. Now this is how Ingram got the lead.
So Sutton doesn't want to let him through. The car is hopping, skipping and bumping, and look, he just wipes Ingram off the road to the outside. I mean, the unfortunate one really, I guess, is Camish, because he should have inherited the lead.
Would he argue that they gained an advantage by being off the track like that? They didn't slow much.
Well, they didn't slow much, and the question is, did they come out further ahead than they went in? That's the touch from Senna Proctor on the back of Gordon Shedden, and you're right, he did pick up a load of grass in the inlet, but fortunately the car didn't spear back across the road.
That's the best news of all. The intake of breath from Toyota Gazoo Racing UK, pretty much audible all the way up the pit lane as that car got sideways. The leaders then are coming out of Church Corner. We're on lap 10 out of this elongated 19 lap race. Senna Proctor may find himself in a little bit of hot water for that contact at that part of the racetrack. Bit race rusty, Senna, having not been in the championship since 2021. As with a lock-up, Ingram leads. Sutton, though, is back at him.
Yeah, he is. Well, obviously Ingram did absolutely nothing wrong in that manoeuvre. He couldn't turn into the corner. He got taken wide. But so I guess between the two of them, the positions are as they should be.
Yeah, but as you say, Dan Camish might think, well, hang on a minute, I did it all right. I went through the chicane and I've come out no better off. So look back now from Adam Morgan's car at Tom Chilton. The two teammates running currently in 10th and 11th. But Tom Ingram still looking for that maiden victory of the season. He leads the way, he's up the road ahead. And Tom looking for win number 34. His last win was at Brands at the end of last season. That's Robotham getting ahead of James Dorlin. So that's the change for 5th place now.
That was a lovely move. That was a really well-timed move to get through on the exit of the complex. He did that absolutely beautifully, Robotham. Cookie, though, up to 8th place now. Fantastic run from Cookie.
So there's Jake Hill next on the tail of Robotham. He's cleared James Dorlin as well. Cook next up. So Josh is going to line up to have a go on the inside. Is he into Church? Yes, gets the job done. This is the replay of the Robo move.
So watch how he does this. He carries more speed through the left. So normally you sacrifice a bit of speed through the left to get a good line, as James Dorlin for the last one. But if you carry more speed, you can slip up the inside, just like Dan Robotham did. Perfect manoeuvre. Typical of Thruxton Racing.
Yeah, absolutely right. Hill for Robotham is a possible change. Cook to get in on the axe as well before the end. Ingram and Sutton go by. That's 11 laps done then, 8 to go as they head in towards Allard. So Tom Ingram ahead of Ash Sutton. In 3rd place behind them it's Dan Camish, still chipping away, but he has 3 laps of boost left, so he's still slightly better placed in terms of power available to the end, but he's not much closer than he was a lap or so ago. He's still not really part of that fight for the lead.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't want to use his extra boost to close up. He wants it to overtake if he can. So he would like Sutton to start messing about with Ingram and slow them both down. Then he could use his boost to pass.
So he wants to do it on pure pace, but the key point of all of this is the pace is not there, because on his last lap he was slower than the 2 ahead of him, so he doesn't have as quick a car on base pace, never mind the boost. So Camish is 9/10 of a second back from Sutton. There he is, look in the background. Mikey Doble is 4th, then a gap back to Robotham, to Hill, to Josh Cook then. So Josh started 14th and he's running in 7th place. So how's that for a recovery?
Fantastic. They don't call him the king of Thruxton for nothing. He didn't get those 10 wins by accident, did he?
Out of the chicane, he will come in a moment. There is the Honda Civic then, the one Motorsport car of Steve Dudman's team. Senna Proctor goes by there, 9th, coming out of the chicane. Leaders have gone through. Ingram to Sutton is 3/10. Camish is falling back. He's 11/10 away from Sutton now.
Yeah,
so he's dropping off the tail of the top 2.
And tyre management used to be a huge aspect of racing at Thruxton, but the cooler conditions and the fantastic Goodyear hard compound tyre, they don't have to worry about it in the way they used to. It should make the end of the race, especially having had that nice little safety car moment to cool them off a little bit.
So the race leaders currently are on lap number 13. Josh Cook, fastest lap of the race. He's got past Jake Hill. He's into the top 6. We have not seen the best out of the Honda, the team, nor Josh this year. We are seeing it now. Bear in mind, this has been rebuilt overnight. Josh was in A&E with a sore ankle being looked at. He's okay, although during the week he might, when the adrenaline wears off, be a bit more in pain. But right now, this is an absolutely fantastic performance. Yes, we know he goes well round here, and yes, we know the car has always gone well round here. But bear in mind that it hadn't turned a wheel after the crash until it went to the grid. This is impressive.
Yeah, and here he comes round the outside of Rowbottom to take 6th place. 5th place, sorry.
And he's still got boost available.
Yeah.
He started with a full 8 laps worth. He had 4 laps at the start of this lap. He is going to be on the back of Doble before long as well. So Cookie goes by, and Ingram to Sutton is 3/10, 1.2 seconds further back. It's Camish, and then it's Doble in 4th. It's Cook 5th. But Josh for 4th place before the end is a real possibility. Ash Sutton for the race lead before the end isn't out of the question.
No, it's definitely not. He's back on the tail, and that's got Ingram looking in his mirrors, which is exactly what Sutton wants. But yeah, just emphasising how good the Goodyear tyres are. Josh Cook set that fastest lap on lap 10. That's almost unheard of in Thruxton racing sort of parlance, because normally the tyre starts to go off very quickly after lap 2 or 3. So he's on fire, and so the Goodyear tyres.
Race leaders then working their way out of that long Goodwood Village Church right-hander that sort of loops you all the way around the back part of the circuit. We've got 1 or 2 more drivers being warned about track limits, but we've still got battles to resolve, one of which crucially is for the race lead. Lap 14 in this now 19-lap race because of the safety car intervention. It's Tom Ingram ahead. He's not getting away from Ash Sutton, and it's Ingram that locks up slightly this time into the chicane. Sutton closing back up behind him. 2 of the most popular drivers absolutely together as they come through the chicane, where there's as ever a big vocal crowd on hand at Thruxton. In 3rd place then it's Camish, and 4th it's Josh Cook. He's done it. So Josh Cook then comes through 14th to 4th.
Wow, what a drive. That's going to be one of the contenders for drive of the day, isn't it? And now Rowbottom has got through on Doble, so Doble just starting to struggle a little bit.
Now, is it out of the question to ask Cook to catch Camish by the end of the race? 2.8 seconds between them, and Doble's got a problem. That's why he's been losing places, because the Vauxhall Astra stops at the complex. Mikey Doble, after the high of Snetterton, hits the low of retirement at Thruxton.
That's overheated in some big way, or the engine's let go, or something's gone wrong. He hasn't been across the grass, but remember on this grid, he had to do a recycle of the engine. So something wasn't quite right there, and it's definitely overheated somehow.
And this is lap 15, and of course it would have been 16 laps but for the safety car. But Mikey Doble really sadly is out of the race, and he's going to be at the back of the grid for race 2, along with Max Hall and Sam Osborne and Gordon Shedden, who had to pit after the car had its big off. So here are the leaders. Ingram locking up. He was a little bit further ahead of Sutton, but then scrabbles through the chicane. He uses lots of curb. Now Camish looking a bit nearer to them as a really dejected Doble walks away. Race done for Mikey Doble then, as the race leaders go by with 4 laps to go. Ingram along with Cook, along with Rowbottom, being warned about track limits at the chicane.
Yeah, and Camish hugely quicker than the others on that lap. He was 4/10 quicker than teammate Sutton just in front of him, 2/10 quicker than leader Ingram. So look, you can visually see he's suddenly close, and it hasn't been from using the boost. In fact, it was Sutton who used his 1 lap of boost on the last lap. I think Sutton's got a bit of a problem.
I think you're right, because he's just not got the pace there to fight, has he? He almost moves over and lets Camish go, but then fights back and has another go at him coming out of Noble. So is this for the team to say, OK, I haven't got the pace, let's see what Camo can do. Dan Cam goes up into 2nd position. Sutton stays on the tail of him, tries to, if you like, benefit from the slipstream to drag him around as the car of Nicholas Hamilton has pitted, incidentally. But now that's Sutton, I think, releasing Camish for Napa Racing to see what somebody else from the team could do about Ingram.
Well, I noticed on the last lap on this, what we call a straight, I was, wow, really wide there, losing time.
That was
Coming
Proctor.
up, that was Senna Proctor. But yeah, on the last lap here, coming up the Woodham straight or Woodham Hill, I saw Sutton losing time. So I don't know if he had a problem there. As side by side, Jake Kidd and Dan Rowbottom get into each other.
Yeah, that was Rowbottom fending off the challenge of Hill. Right, Ingram to Camish is 1.8 seconds. Sutton is being caught now by Cook for the podium. So Ash Sutton is down to third, but with maybe some problem. That last lap was a 19.8, but we saw him, if you like, backing off and letting Camish by. That's Gordon Shedden going through, rebuilding his race. He's ahead of Dexter Patterson now for 19th position, but that was quite a save by Gordon Shedden. I'll tell you a lie, he didn't actually pit with all the grass in the front. He has persevered. But the car way down the order, but the fact that it's undamaged will be a massive relief to that team. Right, there, Rowbottom on the limit, the car dancing out of Noble. Hill is behind him, and James Dorling is next in the queue. James's best result before this weekend has been a 14th place, and right now he is in 7th.
Fantastic qualifying and a fantastic first race for James Dorling, really finding his feet in this championship. And Sutton is falling back towards Cookie.
Absolutely, Cook for the podium, still possible. There's Rowbottom from Hill, from James Dorling, running in exalted company. Then Adam Morgan in 8th place, so Morgan 16th to 8th. As there, look, Hill is coming under attack from James Dorling, going very well indeed here. So the Toyota looking a little bit more competitive than it has done in previous events, staying with the reigning champion. James Dorling, first year of touring car racing, don't forget, comes across the line. We've got 2 laps to go. Ingram to Camish is 1.4 seconds. Last time Camish was quicker. Camish has an extra lap of boost available.
Yeah, 3/10 quicker. The gap is still 1.4 seconds though, so he's going to need a bit more than that 3/10 of a second. The boost itself is worth about 3 or 4 tenths of a second, but he's only got one more lap of it than Ingram, so he may not quite have enough. And remember, Ingram hasn't won a race this year. He will be desperate to win this race.
This is the Sutton versus Cook battle. Tom Chilton is being given a 10-second penalty for track limit offences. He's 10th on the road, but this is the fight for third on the road. Sutton versus Cook, Ford versus Honda, and Josh, after a very tough season, is about to make the move and go through on the inside, heading into Church. Job done, brilliant stuff this. Josh Cook goes by. He had a third at Snetterton, and he might well emulate that, but bear in mind he was in hospital yesterday evening, the car was in bits, and he's ahead even with a flash of the lights as they fetch to the room. Up towards the chicane he comes then. Brave stuff by 2 more of the top drivers in the championship.
But Sutton's car's lost all its top speed.
Yeah.
Both here and on the way up the hill. It's just lost all its top speed. Looks fine in the corners, but definitely lost speed up the hill. So we'll find out after the race what that's all about. But what a fantastic drive by Josh Cook.
And we're on the last lap, so we will not be far off finding out what Ash Sutton's problems were. He is, as Tim's been saying, losing top-end pace. Meantime, Adam Morgan now attacks James Dorling. This is for 7th. Morgan has not done yet. Last lap, it's Ingram 11 tenths up the road from Camish. Camish is closing, but they've both got boost to use on this last lap. Cook, 3rd. He's not going to catch Camish, but it's been a great drive by him as Morgan now starts to challenge James Dorling. Senna Proctor behind in 9th place after that great save coming out of Church a couple of laps ago. Dorling's car there on the edge, dancing out wide. Morgan trying to get the undercut, maybe, if he's really brave, through Goodwood. He's not really close enough there, however. So that Toyota stays ahead. But Tom Ingram is going to come through and score victory. And it will be his first of the year. It will be his 34th in the British Touring Car Championship. Dan Camish ain't that far behind him, but the Team Virtue mechanics have just run across the pit lane ready to cheer their man home. They've got this new debris fencing to climb up as well when he comes out of the chicane, and they can cheer him to the echo. It's been a long time coming, but Tom Ingram's first win of 2025 comes at Thruxton. Tom Ingram wins race 1, Dan Camish 2nd, and Josh Cook, after a brilliant effort from 14th on the grid in a rebuilt car, is 3rd. A troubled Ash Sutton 4th, then it's Rowbottom 5th, Hill 6th, Dorling 7th, his best ever, Morgan 8th, Proctor 9th, Chilton 10th over the line, but Darrell de Leon will inherit that with the penalty that Chilton will have applied.